Trade rumors are escalating for the New York Yankees as we have another major target in this offseason in Nolan Arenado. We're going to be talking about his fit for the Yankees and why at this point we can see him being exactly what the Yankees need along with Jazz Chisholm. This is going to be a very, very big video to discuss what the future holds for the New York Yankees. We're going to be talking about that here in this video. Before we get into it, however, we know that 75% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your New York Yankees news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join us here on the channel. We're covering everything New York Yankees in a very, very busy offseason that we're expecting many moves, but we need to get into this. New York Yankees targeting the Platinum Glover, Nolan Arenado, one of the best fielders of all time. Now, we've discussed fielding here before, especially with the few mishaps that happened in the playoffs, but that's not what the Yankees are going for. They're going for overall talent, and Nolan Arenado brings that everything that they need. And I'm going to touch on here what this article has to say, going into our first screenshot here, which is, it's possible that New York Yankees may look to poach the most beloved member of the Cardinals lineup this winter as they search to fill an impending void in the infield. And that impending void that they discussed was Gleyber Torres. We really didn't know what was going to happen, whether he would re-sign or not, and all signs right now are pointing to him becoming a free agent, going elsewhere. And the New York Yankees will have an opening at second base and then potentially third base, depending on what the situation plays out, how it plays out, who they decide to move, and if they want to move anybody. Because we know there are a few options. We've discussed in the Gleyber Torres video that there's a possibility Jazz Chisholm moves over to second base, and that's what it's seeming to be. Jazz Chisholm currently on third is going to leave a big hole there, and we want a nice guy on the hot corner. That would be Nolan Arenado. And looking at further into this same article as well, how would the uncertainty of a Yankee second baseman's future impact Arenado? Well, Torres is an impending free agent. It's possible New York would rather have an all-star utility man, Jazz Chisholm Jr., occupy his position. And as I mentioned, that's really what I've seen a lot of you guys in the comments want. That's what the Yankees seem to want, and that's certainly an option I think I would like to see as well. Jazz Chisholm's fine on third base, but his home base, his bread and butter, was second base with the Marlins, and I think that's where he would really become his peak player. His peak ability would be back where he's familiar and back where he's played pretty much the entire part of his career at second base. And I hope the Yankees do choose that. There's a lot of better third baseman free agents out there than second base, so having that on that side as well for the Yankees is something better that they would like to choose. And especially with Nolan Arenado, I would much rather have him, I'm sure most of you guys would as well, have him on third base over Jazz Chisholm, and maybe over anybody else possible in the MLB. And looking at going on further in this article, if the Yankees neglect to re-sign Torres this winter, and that's what we discussed, that's what it's really seeming to be, that there will be a hole in the infield, and whether they fill that from internal or not would be the question in the thing in question. They could move on for the more talented Chisholm to second base and pursue a trade for a 10-time Gold Glover Nolan Arenado to fill that void at third. And not only Gold Glover, multiple-time Platinum Glover. I don't know the exact amount, but as I mentioned, you guys know, one of the best fielders in the MLB currently, if not the best, and one of the best all time. You can't deny him from that category. And having Nolan Arenado, a fan favorite, one of the guys that many teams are probably going to be going after because of his price, how cheap he will be via trade in this season, this offseason, it could be a very big piece that the Yankees choose to add over many other options that could be out there. And I don't have a list of free agents right now off the top of my head, but there are many third basemen that could do. There's some that could, some that would be there just to kind of be there, but there's nobody like Nolan Arenado out there right now. And we know Nolan Arenado still in the point of his career. He's getting older. He's not the best he's been, but the defending, the fielding is still top-notch. It will be top-notch, I think, for his entire MLB career. And moving into this next one as well, this is a really big part of why the Yankees could choose Nolan Arenado. And with Arenado coming off the worst season of his career at the plate, the Bronx Bombers wouldn't have to surrender too much to acquire him. At the end of the day, Arenado is a potential future Hall of Famer third baseman who would quickly turn things around, especially if he were to join a legitimate World Series contender such as the Yankees. And when they're saying potential Hall of Famer, he is a future Hall of Famer, no doubt. And especially with the New York Yankees, it is much more of a organization that has improvements in every single possible way than the Arizona Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals, not the Arizona Cardinals, and the Colorado Rockies. We know that the staff on the Yankees is making players who really aren't the biggest names as good as they possibly can be, and putting Arenado in the situation where the Yankees currently have some of the best staff, some of the best talents in the MLB, having him work alongside these guys, play alongside these guys, will naturally just make him bounce back to the Nolan Arenado that we know we've seen in many, many years past. And I also have a screenshot of his past few seasons. I will pull this up. Kind of leave this here for a moment, have a look, pause if you want to go and take a look through these. We've been able to see over the past few seasons his average decrease. Now, I think a lot of that does come from coming away from Colorado, the Mile High City, where balls fly out of that stadium. We know that's a big part for hitters there, as you see, the 42, 41, 38 home runs. When you translate that to St. Louis, still prominent, 34 home runs, 30 home runs. Then you go to 26, and then you go to 16 this season with no decrease in games played, apart from just a handful here and there. But we've seen that the power is starting to go, but the fielding, the hitting alone itself, the average is still there. There are still many opportunities for Nolan Arenado to be one of, if not the best third basemen in the league, and especially in an AL East, in the AL, which has a lot of power hitters, a lot of right-handed power hitters, which also are throwing balls down that right side, down the line. We're going to need a hot corner on that side of things. And having Jazz Chisholm, as I mentioned, he's a great fielder, great guy on that third base and on the left side of the field, but we are much more comfortable with Jazz at second base, having Nolan, having the arm he does, having the fielding he does, and just even the games that the Yankees are going to get into with the multiple, high scoring games, multiple games where the score is going to be run up. You're going to have these players where you need to have the best defense you possibly can, and that's what we've been waiting for. That's what we need to see on this Yankees team. And having Nolan Arenado, who can ultimately as well play DH, but you're not getting him for his bat at this point. You're still getting him for that third base. The amount of opportunities that he could provide to this Yankees team, having multiple younger players on this team as well, such as Jazz Chisholm, such as Oswaldo Cabrera, multiple players. Anthony Volpe could learn from him for the future. And I think that's another bonus side of things that people aren't really looking at, is the ability that he has to teach the younger generation of Yankees that are on this team now that are still great fielders, but could only get better. And having him as a mentor for this team, behind the plate, at the plate, on third base, wherever, he will be a great veteran leadership that the Yankees are somewhat lacking at this point in their title run. So I think that this is a very good option. We've been discussing this for quite some time, and this has been a Yankees report for as long as I can really remember, since we've seen Nolan Arenado kind of decrease on the St. Louis Cardinals side of things. So let me know what you think about a possible Nolan Arenado at third base. I think this is one that will be quite favorable for Yankees fans. Obviously, we want the best for the Yankees. We want to see the best at fielding, and Nolan Arenado will certainly bring you that. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this is a viable option, let alone one that could actually happen? But that's all I got in this video. If you didn't enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. Obviously, a lot of New York Yankees news coming down the pipe. We will have some more videos very, very soon. You won't want to miss them. A lot of reports coming out from the New York Yankees. So make sure to hit the sub button. Don't miss a single video that we have for you guys. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.